Welcome to the Abundant Accountant Podcast. This is where accounting professionals just like you learn all the ways to grow their firm, sharpen their skills, and have consistent increasing sales. I cover topics such as detaching from the emotional side of the sale, having paradigm shifts in the most important part of your business, which is the nucleus of your accounting firm, sales, and how to see an objection really as an asset and stop giving away your time for free for those that don't deserve it, so you can actually get paid your value and your worth and grow your top line revenue. You'll learn tips, sales strategies, as well as hear from personal interviews from successful accounting professionals. This podcast will show you exactly the blueprint on how to create the firm and life of your dreams full of abundance. Welcome to the Abundant Accountant Podcast. Today, we have a very special guest. Our special guest is the co-founder and managing partner of Profit First Professionals. Our special guest is Ron, and he has over 15 years of experience in managing organizational growth, and he's also built multiple companies in the staffing industry prior to launching Profit First Professionals in 2014. Ron lives in New Jersey with his wife, Mary, and their daughter. I'm very excited about our topic today because it's about building corporate culture, which then leads to retention, which also leads to a decrease on the hiring side and more of investing in the long term, which ultimately helps revenue and profitability. But before we invite Ron onto the show, I want to also let you know that as an accounting professional, I know that some of you may be really frustrated and stressed trying to get the right type of clients, having no control over who you're working with, how much you should be charging, and you probably, don't believe that people will pay high monthly fee engagements based on what you think the client can pay versus what you think they can afford. And you know what? It's not your fault. I know that nobody is training you on how to really fix these problems and connect the dots. So if you are looking to figure that piece out, I am offering a 1-hour call for those of you that own a firm who have been in business at least 2 years if you head on over to theabundantcall.com. On this call, we're going to get to the truth of where your firm is at right now and where you really want it to be. What does the dream client look like, and how much should you be charging to hit those goals, and a bunch of other things. So you'll have massive clarity on the vision that you have for your firm. So if that's you, then head on over to theabundantcall.com. You'll book a call with myself or my partner, Denise. And now let's welcome Ron to the show. Welcome, Ron, to the show.
Hey, Michelle. Thank you for having me back.
Oh, I am so excited to have you back. I am so grateful I get, an hour of your time every year.
Yeah. You get more than that. Come on.
I know. Well, between our phone calls, but I mean, for like the podcast, we are very grateful for your presence here on the Abundant Accountant Podcast. And for those that are listening that don't know you, and I've done your intro, but I always think it's better to hear from you directly. Can you share with everyone what is it that you do, and
sure,
who you are?
Yeah. So I'm Ron Saharyan, co-founder of Profit First Professionals, along with my business partner, Mike Michalowicz, who wrote the book Profit First. And so Profit First is a limited membership organization of elite accountants, bookkeeping, and coaching firms.
Oh, great. I love it. And we've worked with many Profit First professionals, and I just think, Ron, I got a puppy yesterday. We were talking a little bit about that earlier, and I was like, what am I going to do about pet insurance? I'm not kidding you. Like, there are 100 pet insurances. I have gotten quotes from all of them. I'm like, this is just, none of it makes sense. And Ellen, one of your mastery members, she goes, you should just do this Profit First style. Open up a bank account, make it for whatever you were going to pay in insurance, and put it towards that, and you'll probably end up with way more in the long run.
There you go. There you go.
Well, a great idea.
Well, one of the things, Michelle, that we're talking throughout the community is everybody's experiencing the pain of inflation and shrinkflation, right? And
Yeah.
so, one of the advice that we're giving our members to give to their customers is to set up a gas account. Right. A
Oh,
gas account, because it is so expensive that gas is going to be there. It's almost as important as a profit account, if you will. So,
that's true.
yeah. And also getting back to, grandmother's envelope budgeting methodology. I mean, one of the accounts that my grandmother had was a food account. Right. And
Wow.
so, I mean, this stuff's getting very expensive out there. And, it
It
I
is.
mean, accountants and bookkeepers, they're always should be always busy and making a good income. But this is advice that they can be sharing with their customers who may not be in such a good position.
Yeah. Well, Ellen's feedback for me yesterday on my post about dog insurance was great. And I was like, I never thought about it, but way to go. So go profit first. But I
There
know
you
today we're going
go.
to talk about, something for firm owners a little different on really how can corporate culture in your firm, even if you're a one person show or two-person show or even a small firm, but how can that corporate culture really make an impact on your revenue, right?
Oh
And
yeah.
being able to do profit first in our firms, you have to also have revenue, otherwise there is no profit. So this is always talking about ways to increase our revenue in our firms. And I think this is a great topic. And, I'm just excited to talk about these tips on what you've seen work in other firms that you've
Mhm.
consulted with.
Mhm.
And, what can some of the firm owners do today to start a corporate culture if they don't even have one?
Right.
Some people might not like the word corporate. So maybe there's a different word we can come up with that and reframe it a little bit. But that's what we're talking about today. So I'm super excited to have this conversation with you.
Yeah, no, absolutely, because things are different. Things are different, right? And so, we've all heard about the great resignation, and then we've heard about Elon Musk and other people saying, "Hey, get your butts back into these seats here."
Yeah,
You
I
know,
saw that.
but reality is that it is different, and the owners, of firms, companies, regardless how big or small they are, have to be understanding of this. And retention is the key here, what we're
Got
talking
it.
about.
Hmm.
Retention. So having a great corporate culture actually starts with the owner. Right. It starts with them. What kind of culture do they want? And here we've developed what I like to call a family first culture, which is the fusion of work and life. And what that means, family first, is that, I never want any of our staff or our team members to miss anything that they have going on with their loved ones. Right. I don't want them to miss a school event. I don't want them to miss a birthday party. I don't want them to miss an opportunity to do something. And so by having that family first mindset and realizing that, hey, a happy employee's family is an even better employee. They're more in line with what your corporate goals are, what you're trying to accomplish as an individual, and that you realize that they are humans first instead of looking at them as resources first.
Yeah.
So we've been able to do that, and we lead by example with regards to that. So
What are
there's
some ways that you've led by example that, a firm owner could do with their, team or admin, or even I'm curious too, if you can talk about this for those that have a remote team,
yes.
they're
Yep.
outsourcing and stuff like that. What could they do?
So let's talk about the first one, then we'll get into the remote, because we are remote. We have a lot of remote staff as well. But the first thing, living by example, is I schedule time for my daughter. I have a 11-year-old right now.
Yep.
She's a single child, and I take her to school. I pick her up from school,
Oh,
and
wow.
also she comes home, and I'm not doing work during those times. I'm
Yeah.
just not doing work. There's nothing
Yeah.
going on that's more important. So they see that on my calendar. And I say to them, listen, you guys can do the same thing. If you have a regular reoccurring something with your family, whether it's taking care of an in-law, whether it is, picking up your kid at 2:30 from the bus stop,
Yep. Schedule
weave
it.
that into it. into it. And that's okay. This work can be, we've proven that the work can be done almost anywhere.
Yeah. And I think that is important. Or, if you're like me and have a puppy, schedule time.
Yeah.
You got to take them outside, eat 3-4 times a day. I mean, this is a schedule change in the last 24 hours, but how can you weave that in and implement that for your team? Because those are the important moments.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah. So my recommendation on, we got a COVID dog. We were talking earlier. We got a COVID dog, right?
Oh my God.
Golden retriever. And so my wife works corporate, and there was a time where she had to go and I had to go. And so, I basically blocked off my 1 o'clock hour because I have to go home and, take care of the dog. And I share, listen, if you guys get a COVID dog, you got to do that too. If you just have a baby or you're coming back from maternity leave, it's okay to have the baby crying. It's okay to have the dog whimpering. It's okay because, we are humans first and we're all going through this stuff. And so that's the good thing that COVID resulted. It actually opened up corporate to the more humanity, more human side of business.
It did. It definitely did. I mean, there were good and a lot of not so good, but I think the human first element and realizing the areas that are important to us. And, if we're not treating our staff with human first, and if we're going in with resource first, I think a lot of companies realize that in the last couple of years, those people didn't come back.
Yeah.
I'm better off not working.
Right. And it's, the executives are realizing that, hey, man, I'm not the only one that can just have all these perks. Everybody should have all these perks.
Yeah.
And so with remote staff, we have staff in California. I'm in New Jersey. We have staff in California, Oklahoma, Michigan, Atlanta, and the Philippines. And we have a morning meeting every single morning, and everybody participates. Everybody participates in this one meeting. And during that meeting, we call it a huddle, but it's an accountability meeting. It's a get to know meeting, and it's a lot of fun. And it's very structured. We actually have people coming in from other organizations that actually video and watch us how we do our morning meetings. So, that's a really cool way to get an understanding from a corporate perspective. Everybody gets about a minute to say something. It starts off with, how was your day yesterday? Then we talk about, what was your big one? Then we talk about, did you get your big one done? Then who impacted you positively? And then personal update. So how it'll go. And for me this morning, it went, hey, yesterday was a great day. My big one was to conduct my GMAP podcast. That was awesome. Our guests were great. My big one today is to crush my podcast with Michelle Weinstein, right? Shout out to Justin. Justin helped me get these books in the mail. I really appreciate that. Personal update. Yeah, personal update. My wife, she's been in New York City. She's been working on some stuff here. I can't wait for her to get home. And so everybody goes through that. And if you notice, there's a couple of things happening. One, status updates. One is the one big thing that you're doing today that is going to move the business the furthest. Did you do it or did you not? If you didn't do it, why not? Okay. Then what's your big one?
How many people are on your call every morning, Ron?
15.
Okay. Got it. So everyone has a turn to say all of these in the group.
Yep. And and in the beginning, we had to use a stopwatch. Because
I bet. Yeah. People would talk overtime.
Yep. And so and especially me. And so you get in a rhythm, and it's good because it's a 15-20 minute meeting at the most. Boom, boom, boom. I know what everybody's big one is. Okay. I know what's going on in their lives. Somebody might say, oh, my husband, this, or my kid is celebrating that, or, hey, my kid is going to a lacrosse championship, or I'm putting in a bathroom, or, a lot of stuff. So that way I'm able to take a temperature of the staff and be more personable and understand if somebody needs a hug, somebody needs a hug. And so, but also what we do at the end of the meeting, we have a prize wheel. Whoever gets the most shout outs gets to win the prize wheel, and they spin it. And on that prize wheel, we have some funny stuff. We have everything. We have a dollar jar every day. We put we money jar every day. We put $1 in, right? That's regardless. Fun. And then somebody spins the wheel. They win the money jar. That's pretty
Oh,
cool.
wow. That's
The
really
next one,
cool.
the next one is pick an office snack. All right. So they pick an office snack. Another one is high fives. Another one is a 6-pack of beer. Another one is various different fun things. Then at the end, we all put our hands in and say on three, profit. 1, 2, 3, profit. And
I
it's
love it.
yeah, and that's why we're trying to make things fun. It's goofy. It's not everybody's cup of tea, but that's okay. Not everybody is going to be right for every culture.
Yeah.
What is the culture that you want to have in your business and champion that culture?
Yeah, so I'm curious for those people that were not on board with your morning huddle up meeting every day,
Mhm.
depending on where they lived and your team, has anyone not wanted to participate and they just left the company because it wasn't a good corporate culture?
No.
Okay.
Well, yes and no. They did. The yes is they hated it. They hated it every single day. Okay.
Yeah.
2, they participated in it
Yeah.
begrudgingly.
Begrudgingly. Yep.
3, we ended up letting them go.
Got it. Okay.
Yep.
So there is a time where it's not going to work out and those people were let go, if
Right.
they didn't meet and fit with the company culture, even though it sounds like a really great time and there's prizes and you get to know what your teammates are doing. So if they're not on board with it, then yeah, they're definitely probably not a good fit
Yeah.
in
And we
in
didn't
the
realize that. I
company.
mean, we hire for culture and we teach, but, sometimes it just, you get into the rhythm and it just wasn't her cup of tea. Lovely person, but hated some of the things that we did. And, you could tell because when we do our Zoom meetings, everybody has to have the camera on.
Wow.
Camera's always on.
Yeah.
Why? Facial expressions are important. I want to see if people are engaging. I want to see if people are rolling their eyes. And it's okay to roll your eyes. It's fun, right? But, video's on. And this was just so difficult for this person that it
Wow.
really sucked the energy out of her and sucked the energy out of us.
Out of you guys. Yeah, you're
Yeah.
trying to create this culture and fun and updating everybody on what everyone's doing and you have a prize wheel. And if they don't appreciate that, then it's just definitely not a good fit. And I know, Ron, you did some other really cool thing too for your staff and your
Mhm.
team
Mhm.
with the sneakers. I'd love it if you
Yeah.
could share that because I just think that was so unique and it goes along with, how to improve your corporate culture and what unique things you want to do for your staff and your team.
Yep. So one of a couple of things when there's gift giving,
Yep.
and that can be in the material things. Then there's also bonuses, right? A lot of companies give bonuses at the end of the year, and that's nice. We don't do that. We give quarterly bonuses.
Mm.
It has a lot more staying power, right? They look forward to it. So that's one thing. Now, the material gifts, we like to give our staff and our members quality that's going to last, but also something that people aren't just going to throw away when they get it. So this year, what we decided to do is give the staff their choice of custom sneakers. Literally, we went to Nike, and anybody can go to this, Nike.com, and you can customize your sneakers. So we customized them with the Profit First branding colors. We have brand standards. We were able to put PFP on them, and the staff got to pick whether they wanted a flat, like a cool retro flat, or a running shoe.
Yeah, that's so cool. I love that. When you told me that, I'm like, wow, that's unique. I think there's a lot of people, including myself, when it comes time for material gift giving. One of the corporate cultures I did with my team this year is we went to a 7-story mansion in Cabo
Oh,
and
nice.
had a little retreat. Yeah. So it was like
Nice.
part work and part just chill. Just don't do anything. Don't work. Just relax and be served. It had 4 butlers at the house. I mean,
Oh,
it
wow.
was nice. But when it
That
comes
is
to
nice.
yeah, but when it comes to material things and sometimes we do want to give gifts if it's not going to be, a trip or an excursion or financial, like you said, your quarterly bonuses. What
Yeah.
other ideas have you done or what other gift giving have you done in the past or maybe even some of your Profit First firm owners that
Yeah.
you've heard were really unique that maybe could spruce up some ideas and brainstorming right now for those listening?
So one of the things that I would recommend is, in order to be able to give gifts, you have to have money. Whether that gift is taking care of somebody who's down on their luck, whether that gift is a reward of some sort. So my recommendation is to open up a gift giving account. Okay, we call it a family account. So some of the things that we've drawn out of that account for have been to pay for landscaping. So one of our guides, our coaches who works for us, when COVID first hit, her husband is on the front line here in New Jersey. He's a ER nurse. And so, one of the things we're like, man, he's working 80 hours plus. He's not going to be able to do his yard work. So we paid for their landscaping to get done.
Wow, that's awesome.
Right?
That's a great, I love that.
Another thing,
one.
Yeah, another one was one of our staff members. She was looking to adopt, living in an older house that had radiators. The steam radiators. Well, you can't have them. And so she didn't have the funds. It's expensive. So we ended up hiring a contractor to box all the radiators.
Wow.
There. Right. Another one is one of our bookkeepers. Her kid broke his arm. We sent some nice, really cool, little gifts over there to them. And so, cards. We have different types of cards. We work with a local crafter who makes custom cards. One where we get by her, keeps her going, gets her income. It's local, it's cool. And we can then send these cards to various people, whether it's a welcome card, whether it's a sorrow card, whether it's a congratulation card. And so we are big givers because that's part of the culture that we want. So everybody here has the opportunity to give up to $100 in a gift without necessarily asking permission. We have checks and balances in place, and we keep that card very low balance, and they have to check to make sure there's money on it. But if somebody, hears something that's going on with one of our, members, maybe, they're sick or something, or their whole family is sick, we'll send them a DoorDash gift card.
Wow. Yeah.
We'll get nice backpacks, right? Like really good backpacks.
Yeah. Like not quality. Again,
yes.
it focuses on quality, but I think it's also really the fact that you've allowed the team to even have, hey, here, you have $100 budget. It's now you're listening for how could I support somebody? What would be a good gift for them? Where I think a lot of times, and I've found this in myself, even in the past, we're reactive.
Yeah.
Where now you've put in a corporate culture of proactiveness on the giving side, be it gifting or even like on the landscaping or DoorDash. And I think those are really great.
Well, it's
great
nice
ideas.
To be nice, right?
It is. So, I love gift giving.
Right. Well, think about this. Most of your listeners are probably accounting firm owners, bookkeeping firm owners.
All of them. Yeah.
Right?
Everyone here is tax, accounting, bookkeeping, profit first. They own an accounting firm where they're in a job run and they want to get out of that job and they want to start their own. That's
right. So keep in mind that most of the people that are coming to see you are nervous. They're anxious. Chances are their financials aren't that good. Chances are they're embarrassed. Right. Yeah. That's an opportunity right there to give a welcoming gift. Hey, come on in. Hey, this is going to be fun. There's so much the accounting and bookkeeping professions can do with their customers to just show a little bit of appreciation.
Yep. It goes a long way. It really does. And I think it's so unique and most people don't do any of this.
No, they don't, or the really large corporations do. Mm-hmm. One of the things that my wife's company did for their executive staff, right? That's also a caveat, though most of the executive staff gets the perks. Here, everybody gets them.
Yep.
But they mailed out those solo fire pits. Have you seen them?
No.
They're really cool fire pits. They're like smokeless fire pits, but they use wood. And so every year, their executives get these really nice corporate gifts, and then like $300-400. which was pretty cool.
Wow.
And so, the big companies, yeah, they do this stuff for the executives. Why? Because they have the money. Now, smaller firms, like everybody listening here, one, you should have a personal development account, no doubt about it. You should have a family account. You can call it a gift giving account.
Yeah. Family gift giving. Mm-hmm.
Yep. And so that way you can actually help.
Otherwise, it's like you're not setting aside the funds for it. And then you're like, well, where's this going to come from? Where if you have the account, you have the funds in there. Now you're more ready to go and spend it because it's also with purpose.
Right.
And every month you put up the money away, it is with purpose and with, it's not just fly by the seat of your pants. It was thought through and it was set aside for contribution.
Yep. And so one of the things that we also do is we have quarterly meetings and we fly our remote employees in. We literally fly them on in, not from the Philippines because you couldn't get here over the last couple of years, but we fly our employees in. We have a 1-day working session where, a couple hours, maybe 4-hour working session. And then we do something, we do an activity. Some of the activities that we've done bumper ice cars.
Oh God, that must have been really fun.
That was fun. We've done hatchet throwing, right? That hatchet throwing. Yep. We've done bowling, of course. We've done glass blowing. We did glass blowing. We did ceramics, making pottery. We've done that. And so our next one, we're going to a raptor trust where, the birds of prey are here and they're kept and they're maintained, which is all unique, fun things to do with the staff.
Wow. And who's planning all this, Ron? Because I bet there's a lot of people thinking like, wow, okay, it's a lot of work what you're doing. It's well thought out, but is there someone, you're a team of 15.
Right.
What is the process on the behind the scenes on coordinating the quarterly meetings, the every morning meeting, the huddle up, the gift giving, all of it? What is the behind the scenes process, look like if you could just sum it up and share what you would recommend for a firm owner who's wanting to implement and put this into action?
Yep. Well, you nailed it. Process system. So, we have a documented process for how we run our morning huddle. Everybody gets a copy of it. Everybody's familiar with it. Everybody understands it. So there is a system and a process. And so for the quarterly events, my assistant, Sue, she manages that. She knows when the dates are. We've already been doing these. So there's already, hey, this is where you park. This is the closest airport. This is the Uber. This is the hotels, everything that you have here. So that's all. The logistics are all taken care of. Then when it comes to the event, it's, hey, Sue, find something cool for us to do.
Okay.
So provide me with 3 options.
Okay.
Yeah. Provide me with 3 options. Ask some of the local people if there's anything cool that we could do. And then let's just figure it out. And so, we have 4 quarterly. You could plan this. So we figured, what else is out there? Right. Yeah. I think the next thing that I'd like to do is there's abandoned railroad cars, tracks around here, and you can ride bikes on them and stuff like that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So there's always, you go on Groupon, look at cool team building things. Well, it's really not hard and it's not expensive. The most expensive is the airfare, but look at it as
especially retention. Nowadays.
Yeah, but these are all retention. Everything that I'm sharing on today's call is with retention in mind for staff, retention in mind for employees, right? Yeah. And customers.
And can you share a little bit about your success on the retention side? Like a little case study, you've had the people around, how many years they've been around.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of, one of the biggest challenges right now in the industry is finding good people. I hear it all the time from every firm owner that I've ever talked to.
Well, the reason is those firm owners have too high of expectations. They expect people to come on in and perform at a level that they would perform at. And that's just not reality. most of the good ones, if they are exceptional, are eventually going to have their own business. Right.
Yeah.
And so, the people that we're working, one, we have to make sure that they're coming in and making sure that, we make them, it's our job as owners to ensure that they're successful, not
Yes.
it's their responsibility to be successful.
I was just curious if you could share like a little case study just at Profit First. Like,
yeah. So
you have a team of 15. How long have they been around? How has this made a difference on your retention and also on your revenue? I mean, and I also know that revenue is probably up, but also with retention, it costs a lot more to hire people than it is to keep them around.
New people.
Yeah.
So Erin, we started in 2014. Erin was our first employee, and she's still with us. I've had the pleasure of watching her raise 3 children in that time.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's pretty cool. Let's see here. Next, we have Liz. Liz is going to be celebrating her 3rd year with us. Charlene, 3rd year. Let's see, Billy Ann, 4th or 5th or 6th. I'm not even sure. Angie, the same. I mean, we really don't have turnover here. We have people that are asked to leave, if you will.
Yeah.
And so the one person, we had actually 2 people resign. One of them came in from Texas, realized they hate New Jersey, went back to Texas. The other kid, he was a kid, he just graduated. He didn't graduate yet. He's about to graduate university with a degree in accounting. We brought him on in before that, paying him, $15-20 an hour, got his degree, walked out to the Big Four, got a job for 75K. Congratulations. That's awesome. There's no way I'm going to be able to compete against that. Right.
Yeah,
but he's going to earn that. And so how do you compete with that? Well, you compete by necessarily not getting the number one student there. You look for other attributions where they've hustled, where they've overcome, where they've overcome adversity. You incent them, you provide them with a great environment, a lot of fun, support them, give them another reason to get up in the morning other than a paycheck. That kid, the only reason he was getting up in the morning was for a paycheck.
Yeah. And I think this corporate culture is going to attract a certain type of person, and not everyone's going to be a good fit. But I think from what you've said, the retention's been so high that this has had a very high payoff for you, a very high ROI. And I was just curious if you had, any hard numbers that.
Well, what I can tell you is that, when we first started doing this, customer retention was awful. Oh,
wow.
Yeah, we didn't know what we were doing, Michelle. And then, we listened to our customers and we built the systems and processes that they were needing and hired the type of staff that they were looking to need in terms of support. And so over those years, our retention went from about 50% to 87% right now, which for a membership organization is probably very, very, very good when it comes down to it. And all of that retention leads to stability, leads to stable cash flow, right? And, leads to higher revenue.
Yeah. And the customer retention on your end is a direct reflection of the 15 people on your team. The morning huddle up, the corporate culture, the 4 meetings, 4 quarterly in-person meetings, 4 hours of work on there, but doing something fun and unique and experiences that they would never do on their own. I would never do any of that on my own,
Right. Well, I wouldn't do half of the stuff that I've done if it wasn't for this organization. I mean, some of the things that I've been able to do has been everything from the Wim Hof stuff of ice bath to fire walking to you name it. And it's because, we're trying to be more experiential in this business that we call Profit First Professionals. It truly is an experience to work with us and to work, in the organization itself.
Yeah, no, I love it. Well, Ron, thank you so much for taking out the time to share all this. I mean, there are a million gold mine gems that you shared on people, for anyone who wants to, number one, create a corporate culture or just ideas for what to do. I mean, I think, rattled off at least 20 to 25 great ones. Is there anything
Yeah.
else that you want to share or any other tips on corporate culture, on how you've seen it benefit you and also some of the Profit First professionals that we just didn't talk about yet? Or do you feel we covered everything?
Yeah, it's not about me and Mike. It's about,
Yeah.
our staff and our members. It's about helping them achieve what they're looking to achieve. It's about being compassionate. It's about no dicks allowed, right?
Yep.
It's about, being nice, right? And not being so self-absorbed.
Yep. Nice, caring, concern for others,
Yeah,
and
but it
listen
starts
and
with the
having,
business owner. It starts
yeah.
with the business owner. And here's the thing, if it's not genuine, if it's not the business owner's personality, then they're going to see right through it. So don't try to be somebody you're not. Be who you are,
Yeah.
right? That's the thing. Be who you are.
Yeah. I love it. Well, thank you so much, Ron, for being here with us on the Abundant Accountant podcast. It is an honor. I'd love to book you again for next year to make sure that we can have you. And
Yeah. Michelle, it's my pleasure. I love what you do.
Yes.
You've helped so many of our members and so many non-members, and just keep doing what you're doing. I mean, the world needs it. So thank you for allowing me on your platform.
Yes. Well, thank you so much. And we'll have Ron back next year. So make sure to subscribe. And thank you again for being here and taking out the time and sharing your gifts and wisdom and genius and all these unique ideas. I love them.
Yeah.
I made a whole list for myself. So thank you.
Nice. You're welcome.
Thank you all so much for joining Ron and I here on the Abundant Accountant podcast. Great, great episode on corporate culture and really building retention and really coming from a place of service and gifting and concern and just being ahead of the game with everything related to your team, your staff, and even on your client side. If you liked what you heard today in the podcast, I would be grateful if you would leave a written review on Apple Podcast or Spotify. The written reviews really help this show grow and help more firm owners. So that's my request. It was an honor to be here with each of you today, and I look forward to seeing you in the next episode.